And now we're going to have a children's moment. This is our kids' lesson, and it's also our children's offering time. It's the time during our worship where our kids participate in this act of worship, the act of giving. So if you're at home, don't forget to set aside your offerings in your children's offering jar or container. Now for our lesson today, we're going to talk about somebody very special. We've been talking about him the last several weeks. It's Jesus, of course. We've been able to spend this whole Christmas season, this Advent season, celebrating Jesus. We've celebrated that Jesus was born, and that is so exciting and so wonderful. But that's not the end of the story, and that's not even the most important part of the story. Today, I want us to remember that not only was Jesus born, but he died for us, and then he rose again. Let's focus on that part of the story today. We're going to read out of our Bibles. Press pause if you need to so you can look it up. We'll be in Isaiah chapter 53, verse 5. Isaiah 53:5 says, "But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed." Now I know that there's some big words in that verse. Let's start at the beginning. He was pierced for our transgressions. That means he was hurt for the things that we've done wrong, the things that we've done that are against what God wants us to do. He was crushed for our iniquities. Same thing. He was hurt because of our sin. And by his wounds, because he died, we are healed. Well, I'm sitting in front of a candy shop picture because there's a candy that comes around the Christmas season that helps me tell this part of the story. What candy is it? It's a candy cane. You probably saw lots of these around Christmas. Well, the candy cane helps me remember Jesus for lots of different reasons. So if I were to flip it over, what letter does it make? It's a J. So J reminds me of Jesus. Now if I flip it back over, what does this shape remind you of? Well, it kind of looks like a cane, kind of like those things that the shepherds hold, a shepherd's crook. Well, who were the first people to find out that Jesus was born? It was the shepherds in the field. So when I see that candy cane, I remember Jesus, and I remember that he was born as a baby. I remember those shepherds. But today, let's concentrate on the colors. What colors are on my candy cane? I see red and I see white. Well, the white part of the candy cane reminds me of Jesus. It reminds me that Jesus is perfect. Jesus is pure. Jesus is completely without sin. But it's not just plain white, is it? There are red stripes on there. That red reminds me first of Jesus's blood that he shed for us. And it reminds me of our sin that Jesus took on himself. Remember, in the Bible it says, by his wounds we are healed. We all have sin in our life, and God can't be around sin. And so he sent his son Jesus to pay that price of sin. Do you remember what the price of sin is? The price of sin is death. And so Jesus paid that price, but he didn't pay it just once. He paid it for all time. He paid it for me, he paid it for you, and he paid it for everyone. He defeated death. And so Jesus took on all of that sin, and he bled and he died for us. So when you see a candy cane, let's remember that part of the story, the exciting part, that Jesus died for us so that we could be with God forever. And when you see a candy cane, tell someone else that same story. Have a great week. I'll see you again soon.